chicken and mind your shrimp. Okay, so your mama need to come get you.
You can go anywhere to get the lies, but I know you came here to get the truth. Welcome to the Alphasphere. Welcome to the Alphasphere, the only place on the planet that's totally engulfed in positivity and totally submerged in alpha energy. I'm your host, Dr. BOA. So I finally got around to watching Bad Boys Ride or Die. And I wasn't going to watch it because, honestly, Martin Lawrence looked pretty sick the last few times I've seen him. And that's not a knock on him. He's a much older guy. So, I mean, it's bound to happen if you live your life putting anything into your mouth and, dealing with the stress of these women in these relationships. But I finally watched it. For one thing, I was glad to see that they weren't able to counsel Will after the Chris Rock smack. And it was Sabbath day. I was sitting home. I was bored. I didn't have anything to do, so I just watched it. The first thing I noticed is that Tasha Smith was Martin's wife. And so I quickly went back to the last one to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I didn't miss anything. This is the first time she was his wife. Before, Teresa Randle was his wife. So I did a little research. And I realized that these younger women had better start paying attention to women like Teresa Randle because The Wall claimed her and is doing a number with her right now. So not only has she lost this role, but her family, friends, and those who care about her are concerned that her overall well-being is not what it should be.
Damn, man, this chicken and mind your shrimp. Okay, so your mama need to come get you. How about that? Your mama. She ain't far. She leave over there.
Her behavior is abnormal. She's coming up missing. She's doing things that she wouldn't normally do because the wall has shown her that the highlight of her life is behind her. See, let me help y'all understand something. You look out into the world and you look at, say, Warren Buffett. Find me the woman who's Warren Buffett's age, who still even seems to be at the highlight of her life. Oh, that's too far ahead? He's too old? Find me a woman that's 60 who seems to be at the highlight of her life. Now, there are some women who have made health changes and they look really good. Like Chef Babette. Woman looks great to be 72, 73 years old. Looks phenomenal. Looks as good as some women in their 50s. Better than most in their 50s. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about overall. When a woman takes for granted that her younger years are the years for her to lock into her future life, not her present life. If she doesn't understand that and recognize that, she ends up like this. Or she ends up in a delusional state, like Lisa Ray, thinking that somebody's going to pay her 60-year-old bills. Even an 80-year-old man is not going to pay her 60-year-old bills. Now, if she was a regular woman, maybe. But with Teresa Randle, besides this bad boy role, what else notable has she done? This was her bread and butter. This was her finish line. This episode was her last chance to make that big check and get that big recognition because she dedicated her life to her career. And I'm telling you women right now, if you dedicate your life to your career, you got to remember you have a deadline to get a quality man. Now, if you're willing to take care of a man and let a man live off of you and all of that, fine. But if you have the mindset of Lisa Ray, where you want to be a traditional wife in a traditional marriage, you have a limited time frame to secure that. And if your career falters the way it seems Teresa Randle's career has faltered, you don't have the career or the man. And there is no woman in her 60s, 70s who is happy being alone. Oh, you know what? Here's an example of one. Maybe she's happy. I want you to listen to this and you tell me if you think this is happy. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen happy before, and it didn't look like this. See, we can't act like happiness doesn't look a certain way. We can't act like misery doesn't look a certain way. And there's a huge gray area in between the two. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's better to be miserable or happy than in the gray area. But if you don't secure your life that you want in the future, and every woman wants that life, even the career women, eventually they want to slow down and have a husband who takes care of things and takes over things. The problem is you have no life skills. And any smart man does not want any woman who thinks she can be a partner with him in life. What man has built a life that a woman could even navigate through? What man has become what he wants to become and built any kingdom, no matter how big or small, and believes that a woman could have done the same thing solo like he did? A woman doesn't want to be a life partner to build a life. She wants to be a life partner so you can help her build her life, because she understands that a woman has a ceiling on what she can do alone. And then she needs a man to help her the rest of the way. Now, a man doesn't have that ceiling, but this journey can definitely be smoother if you've got a good woman in your life that understands her role and plays her position. But what a woman like Teresa Randle failed to understand when she was younger is that if you're not at the upper echelon of your career, you're not going to have the financial stability to be able to talk this talk that you hear these other older women talking, like they have it all together. And mentioned the Chef Bebe earlier. Yeah, she looks a lot better now, but what man wants that? She's admitted the things she's going through in her life. She was addicted to drugs and all of that. Boy, I would never deal with a woman who was an addict, ever, because being from the turf, being a hustler, being out there on the streets, getting it like that, I know what those women will do. And she can't tell me that she never did any of those things, because when you're an addict, you do whatever you have to do, whatever is required to get that next fix. You understand? So I want y'all to understand something. Be aware of the career woman, because she will come into your life and be a toxic force to try to drain everything that you have and everything you're doing and implement it into her own life. So she may be something to play with, but never something to stay with. And I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to playing, there are much more fun women that you can play with than a career woman. They are no fun once you understand how much fun you can actually have on the playground.
So I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but if this was an attempt to try to make older women who are single not feel bad, I don't know if this is helpful. Because why don't we just start telling the truth to ladies? Why don't we just start telling the truth to younger girls and let them know, look, if you decide to, push marriage off or push off relationships, if you decide to not focus on, getting married or whatever and wait until your 40s and 50s to settle down, you're going to experience these hardships.